Hey everyone, Demon BrewCraft here, and we make free D&D resources. On today's episode of Pixels to D&D, we are looking at Marvel Rivals, a very popular 6v6 hero shooter that has recently come out. You've probably heard of it. Cutting right to the point here, we're going to go ahead and be looking at the hero Hawkeye and turning his kit into a class. Well, rather a subclass for Ranger called Agent. There isn't really much to explain about the game other than it is two teams of 6 going up against each other trying to complete objectives. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and hop in and do the conversion while explaining the inspirations behind them for the subclass. So the name of our Ranger subclass is going to be the Agent. Of the many paths a Ranger can take, some may choose to go it alone, as a wandering sniper taking out those they deem threats to innocence. Agile and cunning, an agent plans for every occasion, taking time to craft unique arrows for any situation, dealing a devastating amount of damage from far range with added effects from their owner's design. Agents are silent vigilantes, looking to move from one scene to the next, drifting between places to their next target. So of course, Rangers will go ahead and unlock their Conclave at 3rd level, meaning Agent will be available as one of their subclass options at 3rd level. Let's go over all of the subclass details. Arrow Preparation. At 3rd level, after a long rest that fully restores you, you can prepare special arrows equal to your Ranger level. You're able to prepare more kinds of arrows as your Ranger level increases. At 3rd level, you get the Ignis Arrow, Ice Burst Arrow, and Sonic Arrow. 6th level, Tracker Arrow, Venomous Arrow, Bane Arrow. 9th level, Arrow of Ilmater, and the Spread Blast Arrows. Level 12 is the Wing Buster Arrow. Level 15 is the Sonar's Arrow. 18th level is the Electro Web Arrow. And finally at level 20 is the Heat Blast Arrow. We'll go over each of these arrows as we get to the appropriate level we explain, so for now let's go over the first 3, Ignis, Ice Blast, and Sonic. The Ignis Arrow deals a 2d4 plus Dex mod fire damage and summons fire in a 3x3 area around the target. Entering or starting your turn in the fire causes you to take a d5 fire damage. Note, this is just the damage from the arrow itself and doesn't include the damage that the weapon you are using to fire said arrow is adding as well. Ice Burst Arrow deals 2d4 plus Dex mod cold damage. Summons a sheet of ice in a 3x3 area around the target. If the target moves while on the ice, they must make a difficulty class 13 Dex save or pass your spell save DC. Up to you. Otherwise slip and become prone on the ice. And then the Sonic Arrow, which deals a 1d4 Dex mod, force damage, shoots in a straight line when fired, hitting targets that are also adjacent to its path. The attack hits twice, once from the initial shot, and another time from the wind that pulses from the sonic impact. All targets that are in the air and hit by this attack are brought to the ground. This particular arrow was inspired by the Hypersonic Arrow from Hawkeye's kit that fires a projectile that not only slows the target down, but drags targets that are in the air onto the ground very briefly. A lot of the other arrows you see here are inspired from either D&D itself or arrows that Hawkeye has used in like the animation or even comics. At 4th level, after using your jump action, you may use the jump action again for free mid-air during your first jump, or on the ground after it. Your jump distance increases by 10 feet. This is inspired by Hawkeye's ability to double jump / stride mid-air in the game. Steady Aim. At 4th level, you may use an action to take aim at a target by looking directly at them and preparing to shoot. Your next ranged attack with one of your prepared arrows has a +4 to hit and deals bonus damage equal to your level. You can only have steady aim on one creature at a time. If another creature blocks your shot that is not the target of your steady aim, the effects of this ability do not trigger. Steady Aim is inspired by Hawkeye's passive that builds up his meter. When you aim your bow and arrow at a target in the game, it builds up a meter that eventually goes up to 100. The higher that meter, the better the damage on Hawkeye's shots will be. Focus Knocks. At 6th level, your prepared arrows deal additional damage based on your dex modifier. This dex modifier is added twice if you hit the same target consecutively. The consecutive damage bonus can trigger once per target. Simply put, hitting the same target twice in a row causes that second hit to go ahead and proc the dex modifier to activate twice, which is technically 3 times because, as you saw, the arrows already add your dex modifier already by default, so your dex modifier is 2 times normally with focus knocks, and thrice if you do it twice in a row. However, that thrice only happens once per target. Deflecting Blade at 8th level, if you have a slashing weapon equipped to you and a projectile no bigger than 5 by 5 by 5 feet is aimed at you, you may use a bonus action to use your slashing weapon as a reaction to send the projectile back to its source as your own attack. If you use this ability successfully, your next jump or dash action is free. So, fun fact, when you use your melee attack as Hawkeye, it can actually deflect very small projectiles back at the target. It's not going to, deflect something like an Iron Man ult, for example, but very small, like basic attack projectiles, at the very least, it can deflect or negate. Also at 8th level is Preparation Proficiency. May prepare additional arrows after a long rest that fully restores you, equal to your dex mod. So if your dex modifier is like a +3, for example, because your dex is 16, you get 3 more prepared arrows you get to make after that long rest. Drawing Knockback at 10th level. If you have a slashing weapon equipped, you may use an action to sweep the weapon horizontally in front of you in a 3-tile cone, dealing a d10 plus strength mod of slashing damage, knocking back all targets hit successfully by 15 feet if they are able to be knocked back. This is inspired by Hawkeye's Crescent Slash that launches enemies slightly upwards and back when he hits them with it. Hawksight. At level 12, spend an action to use Hawksight. For the next 2 minutes, your enemies you can see produce an afterimage token of themselves each time they move for the first time on their turn, and every 10 feet they move afterwards. The afterimages do nothing and are a clone of the token. They can only be seen by you. When you attack an afterimage, no attack roll is required, and your hits always land on them. 100% of the damage you deal is transferred to the target that made the afterimage. This is based on Hawkeye's ult in the game, where once you activate it, the afterimages produced by targets he can see are hittable and you can deal damage to them. Doubled Knocks. At 15th level, on your turn, you may spend a bonus action to have your next prepared arrow fired twice for only 1 arrow. You may use this bonus action as many times as you like, so long as you have bonus actions to use it. Hyper-Focused Knocks. At 18th level, your Focus Knocks damage bonus from consecutive attacks on a target can now trigger up to 3 times per creature. Finally, we have Agile Devastation. At 20th level, for each 10 feet of movement you make during your attack, add an additional 1 piercing damage to your next attack. Each time you defeat an enemy via a critical hit, you may immediately prepare 1 arrow. Now, you may notice this is a lot more class features than your normal subclass gets, and it was made like this on purpose. I overloaded it with a lot of details, so it is adjustable. You can, of course, if you would like, line this up with wherever you would normally get your Ranger Conclave features for a Ranger. So, for example, 3, and then I think it's 7, and then you get another one at like 11. You can line these up and cram like either 1 or 2 into each normal area you get your conclave feature. You can follow where they are on the list: 3rd, 4th, 6th, 8th, 10th, 12th, 15th, 18th, and then 20th. If you want to do it like that, or you can add and subtract as many of these as you want. It's bendable to your will. Alrighty, before we end the subclass off, let's go over the rest of the preparable arrows you can get after level 3. Before we tackle the rest of the arrows, if you like this kind of content where we go ahead and make free D&D resources, we have a ton more videos in the future, and if you want to be the first in the know for when they come out, feel free to subscribe and also give this video a like if you like it. Thank you. Starting with the ones you get at level 6, which is the Tracker Arrow. Deals a 1d5 plus dex mod piercing damage. You do not have to roll a hit dice for this attack. It always hits its target. very similar to something like Magic Missile. Venomous Arrow, which is also at level 6, deals a d5 plus dex mod of poison damage. The target must pass a difficulty class 14 con save, otherwise take an additional 10 poison damage and be afflicted with the poison condition. And finally for level 6, the Bane Arrow, which deals a 1d5 plus dex mod of necrotic damage. Afflicts the target with Bane. The Bane from this arrow, basically, if the target fails a charisma save versus your spell save DC, they subtract a d4 from their next attack or save roll. The effects of Bane last until it affects the target once, so they take that d4 subtraction, it wears off, and then you'll have to reapply it to get the effect again. Arrow of Ilmater at level 9. If you play Baldur's Gate 3, you know what this one does. It precisely ripped from it, and it's where it comes from. The Arrow of Ilmater deals a d4 plus dex mod of necrotic damage. The target is unable to heal hit points for 1 round. Spread Blast Arrows at level 9 deals a 2d7 plus dex mod of force damage to all targets in a cone shape up to 5 tiles. This is a pretty damn widespread, and also this is inspired by Hawkeye's ability to switch his primary fire to spread arrows that he shoots in a cone shape that can hit multiple targets. The Wing Buster Arrow, granted at level 12, deals a 2d5 plus dex mod piercing damage. Will do critical damage to any target that is flying or hovering or has wings. Pretty useful if you're level 20 if you have the condition where if you defeat an enemy via a critical hit, you can prepare an arrow immediately. The Sonorous Arrow is granted at level 15, deals a d10 plus dex modifier of thunder damage. It emits a 30 feet sphere of loud sound after damage is dealt for 2 minutes. Targets who enter the sphere or begin their turn in it must make a difficulty check 15 constitution save. If they fail, they suffer a d10 thunder damage. All thunder damage other than from the arrow that happens within the bubble is reduced to 0 due to the arrow's noise cancelling factors. The spear will move if the arrow was stuck to its target for the duration. If you fail the con save from the bubble 3 times in a row, that creature is deafened for the rest of combat. The Electro Web Arrow at level 18 deals a 45 plus dex mod of lightning damage. Target must make a difficulty class 14 strength save. If they fail, they become entrapped in an electric web that prevents them from moving around for a round, while also taking a d10 lightning damage while starting their turn inside the electric web. Finally, the Heat Blast Arrow at level 20 deals a whopping 2d20 plus dex mod of fire damage. Targets must make a difficulty check 14 dex save. If they fail, they are knocked prone. If they succeed, they only take half damage though. There you have it. The Agent subclass for Ranger, adapted from Hawkeye, from Marvel Rivals. And just the general animation cinematics of him as well, because I drew some inspiration from those as well, especially with the arrows. With the way that the features are designed by default at least, all of the stuff inspired from Marvel Rivals is crunched in at the very least to 12, because most of the average campaigns go up to 12. So I made sure all of the extra more powerful stuff is above 12. While all the more inspired stuff that made the class and may make one of people play it at 12. That's it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As usual, the resources are in the description of the video. Check out my last video I did where I converted Klaus and Wartox from Don't Start Together into a playable race. If you want to watch that, you can go ahead and click that. Other than that, however, see you in the next one.